So, Toby, tell me a little bit about this.
We're now, the Slave Street.
Slave Street.
And
Transition Row?
Transition Row. This is where those 74 precious souls, 74 to 100, would have lived with their families in these cabins. Now, there were 23 of them originally. We see the others on the maps. We can't quite figure out what happened to them, if they burned down, they fell in a state of disrepair. So we treasure these, which date back to about the 1850s. And you would have had multiple families living in these, even amidst long hours of work and terrible outcomes, they still retained family. And so the community then did life together. And they held on to each other. And in trying to understand why family was so critical, it was a one stable element. Moms and dads did work to raise their kids, to prepare them for one day a future when they would not be enslaved anymore. We know that they gave their kids every single thing they had, and it would take place often late at night when everybody got in the house from the fields, from working, when the kids would be resting. It would be family time, and that was very, very precious. This particular cabin that I want to share with you, a beautiful woman by the name of Mrs. Gethers, she was born here in 1945, and she left this cabin. She went down to Burke High School, which is our only remaining black high school on the peninsula, and began to get her education. She also went beyond that and became what we would call kind of like a home health nurse. Ironically, in the 70s, she got a call to come back here to take care of the former owner. He was sick. And she has told us in her oral testimony that she thought anybody who lived in a house that big had to be God. But when she met him, she realized he was just an old, sick man, and so she stayed here and took care of him. And they developed a friendship, and she rented several of these cabins from him. This one she turned into a church, and I want you to come inside. And if you look up on the wall, you'll see the scriptures that meant so much to her. Let me have you come on in. If you see up on the wall, so she would have her pulpit in here. She would have chairs. She would have signs on the wall. She also would give away food and clothing. She was trying to change the atmosphere. Her ministry was called the Children of God, and it lasted until about 1986, just 4 years before the owners died and everything would change here. She is still living.
Oh, wow.
She's still living to this day, and not long ago I had an opportunity to meet someone who used to ride his bike down here to get the food that she would give away. She left an incredible legacy of love and forgiveness, and she's a very, very special lady. She also had, this will make you laugh, do you see this orange on the stairs?
Yes.
You remember in the 70s, everybody had shag orange rugs?
Right.
This is the remnants of her rug that was here.
Yeah.
She would have a radio playing, transistor radio with good old gospel music. There would be chairs everywhere out here, and people would come and she would deliver an encouraging word to them.
Okay.
She was determined to make a difference, and she did.
She did.
One other thing I'd like to show you.
Let's see it.
Since we're so close. Do you see behind that white sign right there? Come a little closer. That is...
something that looks like an outhouse.
That's what it is.
Was it?
And that was for everybody along this row.
Lord.
And I understand that outhouses were unique across this country, our grandparents.
Right.
But they were still using this in 1990. Wow. And the highway is right there. And it hurts.
Oh, man.
It hurts to think about that. That they were still here. And in many ways, it's as though time stood still here. Tremendous things were going on just across the bridge. But here, not yet. That would come later. So this is why I say, whatever is left of this path, we've got to walk it. And we've got to walk it together.
Well, thank you, Toby. It's a gorgeous history, the way you tell it.
Thank you.
But it's hard.
It is, but it's necessary.
There's so much more to explore, and we want you to join us on The Good Road.
For more in-depth content, meet us on the internet at thegoodroad.tv.
Hear more great stories, connect to organizations, and make sure you download our podcast, Philanthropology.